what's up, fellow jazz guitarists? Larry Tamanini here with Jazz Guitar Under 5 Minutes. And you just caught me playing through a blues, a G blues. And I'm here today to talk about how to properly weight dominant 7 chords. You know, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but I believe this is the deciding factor in whether or not you are a beginner to an intermediate advanced player, is knowing how and when to weight a dominant 7 chord. You know, it's very hard to quantify how to play and swing. Everybody has their own definition for swinging, and I believe this is part of it. A lot of it has to do with understanding how to play and when to play the right stuff over the right changes. Check it out. I used this G blues, and you heard me start off by playing like these type of shapes that you would, if you were coming from a blues background or a rock and roll background, these are going to be some of the shapes that you learn. Dominant 7 chords are the most important part in playing jazz because it's a big time way where you can implement tension and being creative with how to resolve and create said tension. Check it out. The first couple of dominant chords people learn are like this one, right? From the bottom, if I'm in G, or how about this one? You know, you hear these chords and you're like, you know, okay, like, you know, that really doesn't sound, it doesn't sound bad, but it didn't sound like what I was hearing in my head. And then you sort of maybe learn some extensions like this kind of ninth sound, right? Okay, that kind of sounds like something I would hear like, you know, in a lot like T-Bone Walker, Chuck Berry kind of sound, even like James Brown, you hear this, these kind of like slicked up 13s, you know, and these type of sounds. All right, so that's a big part of it. Whenever I hear chords like this, now if I was just going to play a blues using these types of chords, a 1-4-5 blues, I might play But then, once I try to go back, you're going to hear me play that 5 chord as an altered chord, right? We all know this sound. The Hendrix chord. If you're a guitar player and you've picked up the guitar in the last almost 60 years, this is probably one of the most identifiable chords you're going to hear, right? 7-sharp-9 chord. Why? Because it's a dominant chord that's altered, that's got more tension. All right, if you're just strictly playing these types of chords, you're going to have maybe a difficult time making the transition to jazz because I have sounds like this. Now, if I'm playing a blues, I'm certainly not going to lean on this sound as my 1 chord, right? But I am going to use this, and I did in the 1 chorus I played, which I'm going to go through and just show how I would create tension in that 1 chorus with altered chords and non-altered chords. You know, you don't always have to make everything super hard. You don't need a chord to look like an algebraic equation to be hip when you're playing, especially when you're playing the blues. So check it out. The first thing that I did was I played this, and then I touched on this chord when I went to my 4 chord, which in this case I played as a C9. So check it out. That little nuance within itself is a big deal. And even if I was going to solo over that, that's something that I might play like, I'll play exactly what I played going into that C chord, right? I have this chord. You heard me outline. And then I went from, there's that one note, right? That one note makes a huge difference. In this case, you could think of it as a flat 9 going to, you know, that 5 of the G. All right, so let me talk about each of those, that chorus that I played, and I'm going to play, you know, kind of 4 by 4. First thing I ended up doing was I played an intro. Pretty indicative of what we're trying to talk about, because I played a pretty cliche blues lick, but it sounded okay, and I used a dominant 7 sharp 9 chord to bring me in. And maybe that little walk up from G minor to A created a little tension. And I have B flat A. So I have G13. I'm going from this C to that inversion of a C. Let's talk about what I just played, right? Because it goes by so fast. You know, as you play and do this more, it doesn't get any slower. It doesn't happen where you feel like you have all this time to make these decisions. You just become more committed and have a bit stronger ear jazz GPS to where things are going. So check it out. There's that, right? There's my first 2 bars. So I played that G9 to this G. Again, these are all chords that are not altered. 2, 5 of my 4. Now here, a lot of people would just hang out for that C for 2 bars. There's a bunch of different stuff you could do, but what I did was I wanted to show that you could just use these dominant chords to create a little tension. C, B flat, A, there's that D7 sharp 9 again. And then I sort of do the same thing going back here. I have a G, there's that G13, F sharp, sharp 5, F13, right? E7, right? So check that out. And then I have a little walk up that I played for my last 2-5, and I went A, B. So you can look at this diminished chord. I feel, you know, a lot of people will classify diminished chords as minor chords, but they are dominant chords in disguise, right? Because I'm really just, this is pretty much like an A7 sneaking up to this D. I made it a sus because it's a nice release down to this D7. And what I did here on my turnaround, I played a slick turnaround that I like to play. Starts on a flat 7. Again, I wanted to show that you don't have to, you know, use crazy alterations to create tension. I start F, B flat, E flat, A flat, leads me right back to my G, right? So really important to learn how to weight these dominant chords when you're comping and when you are soloing. Every situation is not going to, you can't use this type of dominant chord. Now, especially if I was playing like a minor blues, there's no chance that I'm going to use any of the chords that I would play over a major blues. Those minor blue dominant chords are going to all be altered. So if I was just going to play like a G minor blues and just play the chords, you know, I start off with this G. There's that altered dominant, you know. There's our good buddy G7 sharp 5. I guess here's a couple chances where you can use it. You know, on that flat 6, you're going to use, you know, a regular dominant chord. But again, really important to learn how to weight it. If I'm playing a minor blues and I want to play like this 2-5, and let's just say I play a A minor 7 to a D9, that's a violation. You're going to have to go sit in the jazz guitar penalty box now for 2 choruses. So listen, again, not so much, right? But this one, same guy here. I guess I can get away with that turnaround there. 2-5, right? A little chromatic 2-5, B flat, E flat, regular. That sounds okay, right? And then, you know, that 5 chord that you do, the more you weight the 5 chord, the more tension you're going to have resolving. And you can sort of cross the streams a little bit when you're playing, like, you know, a dominant chord. You can get away with doing a little bit more. You know, sometimes it's going to be a mix too. That's another chord I like quite a bit. You know, where you have the flat 9 and the regular 13 in there. You know, definitely has more weight, you know, with the flat 13. Anyway, I digress, right? Because there's many different things that you could do. Sorry, I sounded like the police chief from Police Academy. Many ways. All right, jazz guitar friends, if you've made it this far, weighting dominant 7 chords, super important, right? Be really conscious of what kind of 5 chords you're using, because it makes a big difference in everything that you're doing. And it's, again, a very nuancy thing that is going to go a long way to help you out. All right, keep swinging, bebop. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe. Try to put up content every week, whether it's a lesson or a live gig or something from the gig simulator. Appreciate all the support and kind words. Have a great week. Bebop.